Time for the Tesla and Palantir weekly update. And starting off with Tesla on the weekly chart, we can see what price did this week. It opened a new candle this week underneath the 321 support that has been support for the past 3 weeks in a row. So since it opened below it, it came back up, got rejected, and then it decided to go back down to the 295.05, which is the 618. It's no stranger to this fib either, because back in June and early June here, you can see that price did go back down there 2 weeks in a row to retest that zone before it broke out to the 786, got rejected. So it's basically just been kind of consolidating, if you will, on top of this 295, right? From the bottom here, it's just a big breakout, rejected right where it should. Came back down to retest some levels multiple times and is holding. So is it guaranteed to go lower? I don't think so, because there's a lot of confluence in this zone for support. And we're going to just take a look here with the Ichimoku and the SMAs. We can see that price, with throughout all this volatility this week, it's still closed inside the Ichimoku cloud, the weekly cloud. So that is right around there at 313.70, 313.60, just in that zone. So I think that can have a good potential to hold. Yeah, post-market, it is a little bit below the cloud right now, but we'll see how it opens on Monday. But also, we can see that the 50-week moving average is still upward sloping. It's still at the 301.58 as well. And price closed above that again. And you can see that's the trend. Since price broke out April 21st, 2025, it's been closing weekly candles every single week above that 50-week moving average. So this has been the trend, and the trend is still your friend. So to assume it's going to collapse and just go below this 295, it would have to just start to break through all that support and then just head lower. And so far, the trend is it wants to hold these levels. It wants to hold the 295. And more importantly, it even wants to hold that 50-week moving average. So this is going to be the whole zone I'm going to focus on next week. And could it go back down to the 301 or the 295 again next week? Of course it could. It's a volatile stock. But the goal is to still just close weekly candles above this cloud, right? And maybe if it wants to go lower during the week and then come back up by Friday next week and close back above, then it can start to build a base inside the cloud and get more bullish. And once it starts to close candles back above this 321.32 again, then we can start to talk about the 347 and above. But until then, we're just going to look for stability, maybe from the 313 down to the 300s down here. Just keep stabilizing in this zone until it's really ready to break this 321.32 above. And next is Palantir. And Palantir, we can see after getting rejected last week at that 147.31, price did go a little bit lower. So it's an obvious rejection at resistance right where it should be. So this should not be a surprise to anybody right now. This is a very, very bullish chart. It just went straight up right to the 3.618 linear scale fib. 147.31 got rejected exactly right where it should. So now we're looking for a little retest. So how far is this retest going to go? Well, we're going to look for a little bit of a confluence here with some levels. And the one level we're going to look at is the Ichimoku cloud right here, which is the conversion line at 126.77. Still, there has not been a back test of it. So that is a possibility to go back down to the 126 zone and go back and back test that. So that's kind of our first zone that we're going to look at. Also, we go to our weekly chart linear scale GAN. We can see that it's still kind of riding this top arc as or this bottom arc as a support. That's around 134.59, 134.60, and price is really right around there, even post market. So if it opens a candle next week where the arc is, that's really right around current price, right? You can see next week's candle is going to be right here, and that would be right around current price. So if this arc kind of continues to maintain as a support, just trickles down, rides it as a support, then it could maybe just maintain current levels and not really even need to go back down to that conversion line at the 126 right now, right? Sure, we could wick down there and then continue to close weekly candles above, but I think we're really in a nice support zone right now. And if this arc were to ever flip to a resistance, then we could consider lower levels again, maybe even back down to that blue level again, which is 114. But even down there at 114, it's still a very bullish breakout back test for that continuation higher. But we're not going to talk about 114 yet, simply for the fact that it's maintaining this bottom arc as a support. Right, next week, if price opens right now, it's going to open right on the arc, which is really bullish. And also, this conversion line right here is still 126. Even if it does lose that 134 arc, the 126 can go down and catch it. So this chart is still has a lot of momentum to the upside. It just needs a little bit more time to cool off, maybe a few more weeks or so to cool off, find a new higher low somewhere. And once that's established, then I think it'll be ready to finally break through this 147 and then head to the 150s, 160s, and 170s above.